Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's uh, Srimad Bhagavatam. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnupadaya, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Dhanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's session of Srimad Bhagavatam for all. Let us recite Bhagavad Gita Sloka. We are reciting from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 12, text 12. So on Monday we'll be reciting a new verse. Today and tomorrow we'll recite the same. So if anyone needs to go first, please raise your hand. Aditi Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dear श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् अनन्तरम्. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Arunita.
Shreya hi jnanam abhyasat jnanadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagak chantir anantaram. Translation. If you cannot, however, take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is the renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation one can attain peace of mind. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Isha.
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
Krishnashish.
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
Madhava. Okay, Rasapriya.
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानम् अभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanadhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma falatyagaat shantiranantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
Yes. Okay. Everyone has recited. I'll recite Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, text 12. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj jnanad dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phalatyagas tyagat shantiranantaram. If you cannot take to this process, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of work. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Fruits of action. Okay. Now let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 19. King Yayati attains liberation. And this is the conversation between Yayati and Devayani. And Maharaj Yayati breaks news to his wife that he's going to leave home. He's going to go to the forest. And what is he going to do when he goes to the forest? He will be meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because now he's staying in the family, and by staying in the family, he's simply endeavoring to fulfill his lusty desires. He's not able to overcome those lusty desires. He's not getting any satiation, no matter how much he enjoyed. For 1000 years he enjoyed, but still he didn't get satiation. So now he understood that the only way to, you know, the only way to overcome these, to stop these lusty desires, is Krishna consciousness, to meditate upon the Supreme Lord. And meditation upon the Supreme Lord would be possible when there are no distractions, isn't it? So he must leave home. That's essential. So did we read the purport? Yeah, Madhava read the purport. Okay. All right. So to go to the forest and live there with the animals, meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the only means by which to give up lusty desires. So you have to leave home and go and meditate upon the Supreme Lord, and by that only one can give up lusty desires. And what is the problem if he has lusty desires? Then the mind cannot become free from material contamination. Lusty desires means material contamination. So what happens if you have material contamination? You'll have to take birth, go through birth, old age, disease, and death again and again. So then, what is the solution to all these problems? As soon as you turn 50, you should leave home and take Vanaprastha ashram. And then that means now you leave home means now you're left home so that you can meditate upon the Supreme Lord. So yeah, we read this, how the best forest is Vrindavan. But while in Vrindavan, you're expected to, because Vrindavan is a favorable atmosphere for Krishna consciousness. There's practically Krishna consciousness in the air, in the water. So same in Mayapur also, the holy place. So then, so that's the best place. If you're retiring from family life and entering into forest, then better you enter into Vrindavan, not any other forest. Why? Because this Vrindavan is non-different from Krishna. So it's practicing Krishna consciousness is simply natural in Vrindavan, like that. But somebody who after coming to Vrindavan, if is still maintaining lusty desires and engaging in lusty activities, he should not live in Vrindavan. He's not fit to live in Vrindavan. He must leave Vrindavan immediately. Because while staying in Vrindavan, if you engage in such activities, then that is an offense to the Lord. It's an offense to the Lord. So if you commit offenses, then they are very, difficult. They put great obstacles on the path of bhakti, these offenses. So what is the offense? Engaging in lusty activities while in Vrindavan. It's just like monkeys and pigs who are in Vrindavan, but their meditation is simply how to enjoy sex life. So being sadhus, if after leaving home and going to Vrindavan, if they are also chasing after such, sex pleasures, then they actually take birth as monkeys and pigs in Vrindavan. Maya Mrigam. And Srila Prabhupada said how all conditioned souls in this world, they're all like Maya Mriga. That means they're animalistic. And why they're like that? Animalistic, simply after sense pleasures and eating, because of being controlled by Maya. Maya Mriga. Okay. But Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he has come to deliver all these Maya Mrigas who are suffering because of their lusty desires. What are they suffering? The pangs of birth, old age, disease, and death. Mahaprabhu has come to deliver even such Maya Mrigas by his causeless mercy. So, what is the only shelter of all people of this Kali Yuga? The only shelter is the teachings given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One should follow the principles of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. The goal is you should be able to think of the Lord all the time chant his holy names all the time, 24/7. How can we achieve that? By following the principles given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can achieve that. And how do you know what are the principles given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Through the parampara. So if you follow, so for us, practically, you follow the principles of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By that, by his mercy, then you'll be able to think of Krishna all the time. And then when you're able to think of Krishna all the time, then you become eligible to live in Vrindavan and make your life successful. Next, text 20. Where did we stop yesterday? Oh yeah, Rasapriya should read. दृष्टं श्रुतम् असद्बुद्ध्वा नानुध्यायेन् न सन्दिशेत् संसृतिं चात्मनाशं च तत्र विद्वान् स आत्मदृक्.
One who knows that material happiness, whether good or bad, in this life or in the next, on this planet or on the heavenly planet, is temporary and useless, and that an indulgent person should not try to enjoy or even think of such things, is the knower of the self. Such a self-realized person knows quite well that material happiness is the very cause of continual material existence and forgetfulness of one's own position.
So, Maharaj Yayati continues to speak to Devyani. One who knows that material happiness, whether good or bad, it's not saying whether material happiness and material distress. It's saying material happiness, whether good or bad, in this life or in the next. Right? Sometimes you do karma, you do yagyas, etc. So that in your next life, you will go to heaven and you will become happy there by enjoying heavenly pleasures. So material happiness, material happiness, whether good or bad, in this life or in the next, on this planet or on the heavenly planets, is temporary. Yes. Material happiness is temporary. Sometimes you like that and sometimes you don't. Or sometimes you get this material happiness by proper means, and at other times through illegal means you try to get material happiness. So that's also good and bad material happiness. Whether it is good or bad, the material happiness that one gets. And this happiness is whether on this planet or in the heavenly planets, right? And this life or next life means what? Next life means you'll take birth in a better situation materially. So happiness that you derive either on this planet or on the heavenly planets, in this body or in a life after this life, right? In the next life, whatever happiness you get, it is all temporary. It's not lasting happiness. Which happiness? Material happiness. It's not lasting. An intelligent person should not try to enjoy or even think of such things. One should know that an intelligent person should not try to enjoy or even think of such things. Which things? Material happiness, whether this life or next life. So if you are intelligent, what to speak of enjoying material happiness, you shouldn't even think of material happiness. And if you are like this, right, not enjoying material happiness and not even thinking of that, such a person is the knower of the self. He has no aspirations for material happiness and he does not endeavor, he doesn't even think. Such a person is the knower of the self. That means he's self realized. Such a self realized person knows quite well that material happiness is the very cause of continued material existence. Material happiness is the cause of continuous material existence and forgetfulness of one's own constitutional position. So, people in this world foolishly endeavor for material happiness. But actually, this material happiness is not the friend, right? That material happiness is like, you can say, like sugar coated poison, right? You think, oh, it's a candy and you'll eat it, but actually inside it's poison. So, material happiness, by to the touch of the senses, right? By coming in contact with the senses, it may feel good immediately, material happiness. But what is it going to do in the long run? It's going to bind you up in the cycle of birth and death. So, such material happiness should be, if you are intelligent, you should not seek out material happiness. And if you are not actually seeking material happiness, then you are actually a self realized person. I'll read the translation one more time. One who knows that material happiness, whether good or bad, in this life or in the next, on this planet or on the heavenly planets, is temporary and useless. One who knows this, that material happiness is temporary and useless. And also who knows that an intelligent person should not try to enjoy or even think of such things, material happiness. He should not contemplate, he should not plan, he should not enjoy. Then such a person who knows this is also the knower of the self. Such a self-realized person knows quite well that material happiness is the very cause of continued material existence. Yes. So material happiness is the cause of continued material existence, because there is karma, isn't it? So first of all, you work hard, then as a result, you get this material happiness, and this material happiness binds you further. So bondage, you simply get bondage from material happiness. So a self-realized person knows quite well that material happiness is the very cause of continued material existence and forgetfulness of one's own constitutional position. Yes. That is why simple living and high thinking is very much important. Staying away from material, uh, artificial actually. Even within here, whatever is spoken in Bhagavad Gita, that will be according to the Vedic injunctions. Even the karma that one does in order to get material happiness, all that will be within the boundary of scriptural injunctions. But in the present day, the activities, the duties, the dharmas that people have, they're not within the Vedas. It's vikarma, it's not karma. It's vikarma. So, um, such a self-realized person knows quite well that material happiness is the very cause of continued material existence and forgetfulness of one's own constitutional position. Material happiness is the very cause of continued material existence. Yeah. So the work that you do to get material happiness, that work is going to bind you, and that means you have to come back again and again. And when you come back, then you have to suffer all the miseries of birth, death, old age, disease, and adhyatmik, adidavka, adibhautik miseries, isn't it? So material. So one who is self-realized, who is called self-realized? One who doesn't even, what to speak of, he does not enjoy, he doesn't even contemplate, he doesn't even think about material happiness. Such a person is self-realized, and this self-realized person knows that this material happiness is the cause of his bondage. Material happiness is the cause, the very cause of continued material existence and forgetfulness of one's own constitutional position. Purport. So after Rasapriya, Neelambari Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila
Jai
Prabhupada.
Shri Prabhupada.
Purport Mataji.
Purport. The living entity is a spiritual soul, and the material body is his engagement. This is the beginning of spiritual understanding. Dehinashmin yatha dehe komaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra na muhyati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Bhagavad Gita 2:13. The real, the real mission of human life is to get free from engagement in the material body. Therefore, Krishna descends to teach the conditioned soul about spiritual realization and how to become free from material bondage. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. The words dharmasya glani mean population of one's existence. Our existence is now polluted and it must be purified. Sattvam shuddhyat. The human life
Right.
is meant for this purification, not for thinking of happiness in terms of uh, external body, which is the cause of material bondage. Therefore, in this verse, Maharaja Yajati advises that whatever material happiness we see, whatever is promised for enjoyment, is all merely flickering and temporary. Abraham uh, Abrahma Abrahma Bhuvanaloka Punar Avartina Arjuna. Even if one is promoted to Brahmaloka, if one is not freed from material bondage, one must return to this planet Earth to continue in the miserable condition of material existence. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. One should always keep this understanding in mind so as not to be allured by any kind of sense enjoyment in this life or in the next. One who is fully aware of this truth is self-realized. Sa Atma Drik. But aside from the him, everyone suffers in the cycle of birth and death. Mrityu 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 Samsara Vartamani. This understanding is one of true intelligence, and anything contrary to this is but a cause of unhappiness. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atoeva Shanta. Only a Krishna conscious person who knows the aim of object of life is peaceful. All others, whether karmis, Gyanis or yogis are restless and cannot enjoy real peace. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Big purport. Okay, so you are discussing about an intelligent person will not even think about material happiness, and he knows that this material happiness is the very cause of his forgetfulness of constitutional position. So on that, Srila Prabhupada is writing the purport. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. So the living entity So talking about bondage, right? Material happiness is the cause of his continued material existence. What is continued material existence? After you give up this body, again you have to take another body. And even within this life also constantly a changing body. You constantly are changing your body. From boyhood, small child's body, then a young person's body, then middle-aged person, then old age, and finally after death again you have to change the body. So this is material existence. So what is the mission of this human form of life? To come out of this cycle of birth and death. To come out of this cycle of birth and death. This is material existence is compared to a fort, like a prison, Durga. So the living entity is in this material existence. He's encaged, he's imprisoned. So the human form of life is a way to come out of this, to become liberated from this imprisonment or engagement. Then what is the way to come out of this bondage? So according to the translation, if you give up material happiness, not only not enjoying but also not even contemplating about material happiness, then only you can come out of this bondage. So Krishna descends to teach the conditioned soul about spiritual realization and how to become free from material bondage. So that, because coming out of this material bondage is the purpose of human form of life. But who will tell him about this purpose? What is the purpose of human form of life? That also has to come from authority. So Krishna comes to remind them, right? Dharmasya glani. Whenever it is forgotten, then Krishna comes to remind. Dharmasya glani. Pollution of one's existence. Dharma means duties. Glani means falling away or pollution, contamination. So you are not doing a particular dharma. Then at that time, the Lord comes to re-establish the principles of dharma again. So what is our condition in the present moment? Our consciousness is polluted, our dharma is polluted, we are not doing our dharmas. We have created so many dharmas, right? All types of, with our mental concoctions, we have created so many dharmas. So our existence is now polluted and it has to be purified. So how you can become purified? You have to come from the modes of passion and ignorance to the mode of goodness. If you follow your particular dharma which is prescribed in the Shastra, you will come to the mode of goodness. And when you come to the mode of goodness, your existence becomes purified. That is why only in the human form of life you have all dharmas: Brahman dharma, Kshatriya dharma, Vaishya Shudra dharma, Stri dharma. This is not there in animal forms or in any other form. Only for human beings you have these dharmas. Because this human form of life is a turning point for the living entity who has been going through this cycle of birth and death since time immemorial in so many various species. But when he comes to the human form of life, he has this opportunity of getting liberated from this cycle of birth and death. But who will understand this? That I need to come out of this cycle of birth and death. One who is purified, he will be able to understand. Or one who is in the mode of goodness will be able to understand. If you are in the modes of passion and ignorance, then you will be hankering after material happiness. So because this human form of life is meant for purification, and it is not meant for enjoying material happiness or contemplating on material happiness, because material happiness is the cause of bondage, is the cause of repeated birth and death. Therefore, Maharaj Yayati is saying that whatever material happiness we see in this world, it's not eternal, it is temporary, it's not lasting. And not only is it temporary, it also gives you bondage. Material. And also he said, on this earth or on any other planet. That means within the whole universe. A Brahma Bhuvanal Loka. That means beginning from Lord Brahma, in every planet, you will find this material bondage. Material bondage. That means cycle of repeated birth and death. And why you go through this cycle of birth and death? Because of material happiness. Because of material happiness. So even if you go to the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, still you don't become free from the bondage, material bondage. What is that material bondage? Material bondage means cycle, repeated cycle of birth and death. How do you get this material bondage? Because of your attachment to material happiness. You get material bondage. And it's not just on this planet or in this lifetime, seeking, running after material happiness. It's there throughout the universe. And anyone who's going after material happiness, he will be in material bondage or in the cycle of birth and death. And even if he goes to some other higher planet, Kshine Punya Martya Lokam Vishanti. Right? When you do some Punya Karma, you are elevated, promoted to higher planets, either Swarga or wherever. And then when your Punya becomes expended, then once again you have to come back to this earth planet, Karma Bhumi. And then what do you do after coming here? Again, you're running after material happiness. So you're working hard. Again, you will die. So until and unless you give up this attachment to material happiness, bhutva bhutva praliyate. Again and again you will be killed, and again you will take birth, and this material existence or this material bondage will continue birth after birth after birth. When will this stop? When you actually stop thinking of material happiness, when you stop trying to enjoy material happiness. One should always keep this understanding in mind, so as not to be allured by any kind of sense enjoyment in this life or in the next. Right? In this life, that means immediately, right now you want some sense enjoyment. Next life means you do some pious activities, give some charity, some yagyas, so that in your next life, so this life I'm getting, but I also want to make sure that in future also, next life also, I will have material happiness. So as long as you are trying for material happiness in any way, you can be sure that your material existence will continue. Material bondage, repeated birth and death will continue. How long? As long as you are attached to material happiness, or your goal is material happiness, or even if you are not getting material happiness, you are contemplating on material happiness. All these things will lead to material bondage. One who is fully aware of this truth, who knows this, he is, what is he called? He is self-realized. Sa Atmadrik. Except for such a self-realized person, everyone is bound in the cycle of birth and death. Mrityu samsara vartmani. So who is an exception? One who is a self-realized soul. So in this context, what do you mean by a self-realized soul? One who has given up material happiness, understanding that this material happiness simply gives me bondage. He gives up such material happiness. Such a person is a self-realized soul, and it is such a self-realized soul who actually is able to come out of this cycle of birth and death. This understanding is one of true intelligence, and anything contrary to this is but a cause of unhappiness. So which understanding? Understanding that material happiness is the cause of my bondage, therefore I don't want material happiness. This type of understanding is real intelligence. If I'm not going after material, if I'm not aspiring for material happiness, then that is true intelligence. And why you're not aspiring for material happiness? Knowing that this material happiness is going to prolong my material existence. Someone who seeing that this material happiness, although it looks attractive now, actually it's going to bind me. So someone who sees this and therefore he avoids material happiness, he's a truly intelligent person. And anyone who does not have this understanding, or he has an understanding which is contrary to this. What is contrary to this contrary means he thinks that no, material happiness is also required. You need some material happiness also, otherwise you won't be able to function in this world. Or you can also get perfection by doing little bit of material happiness. You can actually, so any idea you have other than that idea, which one? That material happiness is going to give me material bondage. Anything which is contrary to this understanding is not intelligence. It is not intelligence. Yeah. Anything contrary, and it's not intelligence, and it is the cause of unhappiness. That's the interesting thing. Prahlad Maharaj says that, right? As long as you try to be happy, as long as you're chasing after happiness, happiness means, of course, material happiness. You try to become happy in so many different ways. If I get to, we have so many desires. If I can only get this thing, then I'll become happy. If I get that thing, I'll become happy. If I get this partner, I'll become happy. If I have my house, I'll become happy. If I have a child, I'll become happy. So on and so forth. The list is endless. But every time you get, still, you're not becoming completely happy. No. And even the flickering happiness, it comes and it's gone. So as long as you are chasing this happiness, you will never be happy. It is only when you stop looking for happiness, that's when you actually become happy. This is Prahlad Maharaj's wisdom. When you stop looking for happiness, that's when you become happy. But as long as you're looking for happiness, chasing after happiness, you'll never get it. What happiness are we talking about here? Material happiness. So intelligent person is he who gives up such material happiness, knowing that this material happiness gives me bondage. And anyone who has any understanding which is contrary to this understanding, what is the result? He will only be unhappy. That means contrary to this means so many ideas about how material happiness is required. Or it is not so bad after all. If you have any ideas like this, then you cannot be happy. It will only keep you in misery. That's the point. Who's speaking? Yayati Maharaj is telling Devyani. Because they've been enjoying together all these years. So she may be thinking, yes, we are having a good time, why you're leaving, right? No. If you're running after material happiness, it's only going to make you unhappy. That's the point. So we should stop now. So he's enlightening his wife, Devyani. This understanding is one of true intelligence, and anything contrary to this is but a cause of unhappiness. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataeva Shanta. Nishkama, free from all material desires. Kama means desires, and especially, right, material desire. Did I tell you the other day? Maybe I did, I'm not sure. But akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. In that verse, moksha kama, it is said. Kama. So normally when do you use the word kami? Kami is used for someone who is hankering after some material enjoyment, lusty for material pleasure. You call him kami, right? Kami, asking for some material enjoyment. If somebody wants liberation from material existence, from material pains and pleasures, will you call him a kami? No, right? You would call him a transcendentalist. Anyone who wants to transcend the material world, you would call him, you wouldn't call him a kami normally. But here Sukadev Goswami is saying, akama sarva kamova moksha kama. That means somebody aspiring for moksha is also being called a kami, or that desire for moksha is also called as a lusty desire, kama. In fact, somebody desiring moksha is said to be more lusty than somebody who's asking for some material desires within this world. He's a bigger lusty person than somebody who's asking for some material results. You know how? Material desires, if you're asking, worshipping some particular demigod and asking for some material result, what are you asking for? Give me something within this life. Yes? I want a good husband. I want a good wife. I want to get this job. I want to be number one in this exam. I want to come first in my class. Give me a son. Give me a daughter. So on and so forth. For this life. Okay, a little bit more. In my next life, may I go to Swarga. Okay? So such type of desires, material desires, if one has, then you call him a kami. But what about someone who's asking for liberation? He is saying, not just this life or next life, eternally I want to become free from all pains of this material existence. What is this? It's also a desire. He is only a selfish person. He's thinking about himself. Where is love here? I don't want to suffer. I want a nice, comfortable place for myself. So this kami, that is why Sukadev Goswami uses the word moksha kama. Because even someone desiring moksha is also a kami from the perspective of a pure devotee. Yes, Mataji. Aditi Lata Mataji.
Mataji, I'm talking about myself. Because I'm not pure devotee, obviously I am not in that mood. I cannot falsely cheat Krishna by saying, oh, I just want to serve you and do whatever you want to with me. I'm not in that level. So I also, when I'm desiring something from Krishna, I also, when I want to be with Krishna, I want to be serving or be with Krishna in Goloka. That's what we are all aspiring. So that is also karma, right? Because that is also I'm doing for me.
No, no. Yeah, if your desire is to go to Goloka because it's nice there, I want to go there, then yes, that's also karma.
No,
But
not only me. I want to be with Krishna, but that is also my.
yes, it is. That's what I'm saying. It is yours only. If you're saying, I want to be with Krishna, that is also karma only. Of course, it is in relation to Krishna, but When you say Anya Abhilashita Shunyam means what is your Abhilasha? To please Krishna. So your prayer would be, if it is pure devotional service. So you're saying again two different things. You're saying on one side, you're saying, I am not on the platform of pure devotional service. So you agreed to that already. You are not on the platform of pure devotional service. Because what is the platform of pure devotional service? I don't have any desire. I don't ask for anything save and except Krishna's pleasure. So if Krishna is pleased by keeping me in this world birth after birth, a million births, I'm happy to stay here. Because my only desire is Krishna's pleasure. This is pure devotional service platform. That is the definition that cannot be changed. Then next point is, where am I? Am I actually, do I have that consciousness exactly as you said? I cannot cheat. I cannot falsely pretend and say that, oh, I'm also thinking like that. I should actually get the qualification. I should actually get that. And then I can say. So there is a gap, no doubt. So now then what we should do is study, like you said the other day. You analyze, right? What is envy? What is my consciousness? Like that. So you analyze now, what is my desire? I want to be with Krishna. I want to go to Goloka. I want, you see, I want. So is this pure devotional service or not? You should analyze. You'll come to the conclusion, no, it is not the highest. It is good. Even those who desire liberation, moksha, right? There are different types of moksha. Moksha doesn't just mean someone who goes and merges. Moksha is also somebody who lives in the spiritual world in Vaikuntha, right? They are in the same proximity as the Lord, or they get the same opulence as the Lord, same beauty as the Lord, same, form, beauty, opulence, same planet as the Lord, and they're also in close proximity with the Lord. So, like this, different types of moksha one gets. There also, what is the desire? You like opulence, material opulence, but you don't want this flickering right? After this life ends, all the opulence is gone. So instead of worshipping some demigod, you worship Lord Vishnu. But the desire is there in me for material opulence. But because I'm worshipping the Supreme Lord, He gives me material opulence and He gives me eternal opulence. That is liberation. So there you'll get opulence, unlimited eternal opulence, and you live there in Vaikuntha. But liberation means there is no seva. Liberation means there is no seva. Because that was not my desire in the first place. My desire was I want to have opulence and I also want to be with the Lord in the spiritual world. These different types of moksha that we talk about, that there is no seva there. You go and you're there, like on the same planet, just like you're in the same country as the president. You don't know what's going on with the president, and even if you know, maybe you get to hear on the news or something. But you don't have a personal relationship with the president. You understand? Like that. When you get liberation, you go to the same planet, but you're not having a personal relationship with the Lord, where you're exchanging, right? Rendering service to Him. That won't happen. If the aspiration is liberation. So if you are saying, so what was your point? Are you trying to say that is this bad? Is that what you're asking? Because you already said it is not pure devotional service.
It's karma only. That's what I'm saying. In spite of majority of the devotees, that's what
Yes,
that's what
you're
we are.
right. That's the whole point. Majority of the devotees are on this platform only. So that is why we have to refine. Because if we don't understand, see what is happening is we think this is pure devotional service. But actually, if you study Nectar of Devotion scrutinizingly, you'll understand no. So now we have to fine tune our bhakti that we are doing. What is our aspiration, right? If I want to be a pure devotee, what is the highest type? We understand the love of the gopis, of the Brajbasis is the highest. So if I want, then what is the expectation from me if I want that type of love? Especially after coming in this line of disciplic succession, we are all called Rupanugas, right? Coming from Srila Rupa Goswami. Who is Rupa Goswami? Rupa Manjari, right? So that is already there. The type of relationship that we would have with the Supreme Lord. So then we should be cultivating that type of devotional service, because this is our training period. When we are trained properly, then we will be recruited, right? And first of all, we will get the opportunity to render service to Krishna in a material universe where Krishna is personally performing pastimes, and then we can go to the spiritual world. But it is a state of consciousness, it's not just physically going there. And it is not about becoming free from the sufferings of this world. If I'm really aspiring for pure devotional service, then that is what is expected. Like that. At least we should know what is pure devotional service. Then we will be able to actually get some understanding of how exalted these devotees are, the Brajvasis, how great they are, and how far we are from that type of love. That will make us very humble, and then we can actually become, candidates to receive the mercy when we become humble. So, yes, it's very good that we should realize what is my consciousness, and then what is the consciousness that is expected for pure devotional service, and then how do I go there? The only way to go there is the mercy of pure devotees. Then we will sincerely call out to the pure devotees to give me that that love, that pure love, right? So when we practice, when we enter into pure devotional service also, there is two types, Vaidhi and Raganuga. So Vaidhi sadhana bhakti means you follow rules and regulations. But at one point of your progress, after all anarthas are removed, after Nishta, when you come to Ruchi, at that stage you are supposed to shift from Vaidhi to Raganuga. So shifting means now you will actually be following one Brajbasi, and you'll be getting trained up how to serve Krishna in the relationship that Brajvasi has. So it can be in Sakiras, like that different. So ultimately we want to get that Vraja Prema. So what is that Vraja Prema? What is the consciousness of the devotees? So that's what we are trying to understand. So if we are aspiring for moksha, that's not pure devotional service. So we have, Sakama, Kaivalya Kama, and then you have Bhakti Matra Kama. So when you do devotional service, Sakama, and you're doing Sakama means with material desires. You want to fulfill some material desires and you worship the Supreme Lord. Then what do you get? First of all, your material desires will be fulfilled. This is Varnashram system. In Varnashram system, you have material desires. You want a good family. You want good health. You want, nice opulent situation. And you also want to worship the Lord. You identify yourself as a devotee of the Lord, and whatever you have a problem, you go and tell the Lord, oh, my my daughter is not getting a good husband, oh my Lord, please help me. Or something else, my father-in-law has a serious illness, please my Lord, help me. Like that, everything, whatever, something good happens, then also you celebrate, offer nice things to the Lord, give gifts to the Lord, like that. So he becomes part of your life. Nevertheless, you still have these desires, material desires. This is sakama bhakti. You're doing bhakti, but you still have material desires. Then what is the result of this type of bhakti? When someone does this type of bhakti, of course, we have already taken initiation in this uh, line. So our path is already fixed. Now we simply have to come to the point of pure devotional service. You can take it either in a nice way or not. So you take as many births as it requires to come to the point of pure devotional service and then go back to Krishna, Golok Vrindavan Dham, where you're engaged in pure devotional service. But the point is, you'll go there only when you have that type of consciousness. But otherwise, in Varnashram system, when somebody is worshipping Lord Vishnu, he will have all these material desires and is worshipping Lord Vishnu. So the result of worshipping Lord Vishnu, and of course, again, that also has to be completely focused, right? Like you're only thinking about the Lord, even though you have material desires. Then at the time of death, you're just thinking about the Lord. Then you will get, in this lifetime, because you worship the Lord, you'll get material results also, definitely, by that bhakti. But after this life, if you have perfected this sadhana, at the time of your death also, you are only thinking about the Supreme Lord, because you have developed such a, a relationship. Relationship here, of course, the only relationship is there. Relationship means you worship the Lord, you worship the Lord, you worship the Lord. He is God and I'm a devotee, like that. Then you go to Vaikuntha and you'll get opulences, whatever is your desire, you get those opulences. So in this world also you get opulences, but then after this life you'll get eternal opulences. This is moksha, liberation. But that's not pure devotional. This is called sakama bhakti. So those who are in Varnashram system, they follow this Sakama Bhakti. Artho, Artharthi, Jigyasu. These three types, they are all Sakama Bhaktas. Artha, Artharthi, Jigyasu. They are Sakama Bhaktas. They are worshipping the Lord, but they have material desires also. Sakama. So this Sakama Bhaktas, you cannot call them Shuddha Bhaktas. Then there is another category, Kaivalya Kama. So here they have material desires. They are not even asking for liberation. They have material desires. But because they are worshipping the Lord and they have that attachment to the Lord, so therefore they get liberation also. And then Kaivalya Kama means they are not asking for any material results, but they want liberation. Then they get liberation. They get liberation. And then the third type is Bhakti Matra Kama. Bhakti Matra Kama means their only desire is bhakti. Their only desire is bhakti. So in this also, different types of bhakti. So if you are working and then you're offering the results, with what mood are you offering your result? With the mood that you want material results, that becomes sakama offering. And if you're offering with the idea that by offering to the Lord, He'll give me liberation, that's called Kaivalya Kama. And you're offering to the Lord because you want love, you want bhakti. Out of affection, you're offering to the Lord. That's called Bhakti Matra Kama offering. That's one type of bhakti. That's Varnashram system. And then Mishra Bhakti means you're doing direct Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, you're doing, but you're not doing it 100% purely. You're doing that, and side by side, you're also doing some karma, some jnana. That there also again the motivation is important. Why you're doing this? Because you want some fulfillment of material desires, or you want liberation, or you want bhakti. So ideal situation is, even if you're doing some karma or jnana, whatever, your consciousness should be, I want bhakti only. I don't want anything else. I don't want liberation. I don't want material results. I want love for Krishna. And then because I still have Shraddha in karma, Shraddha in family or whatever, I'm doing those things. Side by side, I'm also doing chanting and everything. But my goal is whatever I'm doing, my goal is I want only bhakti. That's good. That's ideal. From there, you can move to Shuddha Bhakti. When will you move to Shuddha Bhakti? When you give up Shraddha in other things. And you'll keep increasing your bhakti more and more and more. Now you're doing bhakti also and other things also. Then other things will be minimized little, and ultimately you'll be doing only bhakti. Then that is, when you do only bhakti, then that becomes Shuddha Bhakti. So what I'm saying is the consciousness, the motivation behind bhakti is also very much important. Why we are doing is also important. So when we analyze our consciousness, as you said, yes, majority of us fall in these categories only, out of fear of, death, or fear of suffering of. So this material world is so then we will say, oh, we read in Srila Prabhupada's purports and Prabhupada's lectures. Srila Prabhupada says, just, this place is not good for, um, a gentleman. Just get out of here as soon as possible, right? Give this one life to Krishna and get out of here. Why? Because you see, even we were reading the other day in Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, even Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, taking such a big jump is difficult, right? When we were reading about that verse, actually the one that we are memorizing now, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj, jnanad dhyanam vishishyate. So there it is said that directly to go to dhyanam, it's a long jump. It's not possible for everyone. It's a difficult one. So therefore take an intermediate step. Then from there when you jump, it's possible. Like also the different stages, right? Topmost is to do pure devotional service. But if you're not able to do that yet, then do the second level, right? You do, mind is not, you're not able to fix your mind, then you chant external senses, right? You clean the temple, you chant Krishna's name, hear Krishna Katha, like that. If you're not able to do that also, then okay, you do karma and then you offer the results to the Lord, like that. So different steps are given. So according to the level of the student, the teacher gives that type of instruction. So if the audience, the receiver, they're all completely materialistic, right? They have so many material desires. And if you directly tell them that just, so according to audience, basically. So if somebody is able to take to pure devotional service, then that's what is taught to them directly. But the whole idea is somehow or other lift them higher than where they are from. Some people may be like, oh my God, I cannot do this. That's too much. But if you were told, no, you just chant 16 rounds and, then you know, oh, that's doable. I can do that. But if you were told from day one itself, 24 hours you have to chant, will you be able to do that? You know, that's not possible for me. So, and then the whole idea is you start from here and then you'll be brought to higher and higher and higher levels gradually. So you need some impetus, right, to take to it. So all right, oh, you will be liberated. Oh, okay, no more suffering in this world. Okay, I will take to it. But after coming now and, now we should understand that's not the goal. Simply becoming liberated is not the goal. Yeah, you can say, I'm satisfied with this. I don't need higher. You can say that, no problem. But you cannot say this is the highest. That you cannot, you should not say. This is the highest, that you should not say. You can say that, yeah, there is higher stages also, but I'm satisfied with this. I don't want to go any higher. You may be able to say that. But this is the highest because this is what I'm doing and this is the highest, that wouldn't be proper to say like that. So we are discussing here about what is the consciousness of one who is a pure devotee. Like we were discussing about Sachi Mata the other day. Nimai's happiness is my happiness. I don't think about my distress or my happiness. His happiness is my happiness. This is pure devotional service. And that means you're prepared to suffer any type of suffering if that pleases my Lord. You want to say something?
I'm nowhere near that, Mataji. First of all. Secondly, I am in that category where fearfulness is there.
Yes.
That if I say that, okay, whatever you want to do, am I able to bear that pain? Krishna will also test me with that suffering. Like
Of
we have
course.
seen, their kids die in front of them, then they, everything goes away, and then
Yeah.
like Sanatana Goswami having disease in the body, suffering.
Yeah.
I cannot, because I'm already suffering in this material world, for which I don't want to be in this material world and go back to Krishna. Of course, I have the mentality of serving Krishna there. I want to please Krishna, but that is the only till that portion. I cannot go beyond that in my mental capacity, because if I say
Now,
also
at present.
now, yes. So that mercy, that barrier has to be, that fear barrier has to be broken by Krishna only. Without Krishna's mercy, I cannot break that barrier, because I'm already suffering. So I know the pain, because I'm already bonded in my, material encasement. So therefore, I feel that pain every step of the way. So I
Yes.
cannot come out of it without.
Yes. Not only you, nobody can come out of it on their own. That is bhakti. Whereas in other Ashtanga Yoga or in other paths, you feel like you will do it and you will cross by your endeavor. But in bhakti, you realize I'm too small. I cannot do it. I cannot overcome it. Bhakti is given to us. It is not earned. It's given to us. So we are beggars from day one. We are beggars only. We'll just receive. When we receive it, then we become devotees. So it's just given to us. So a very important point that you brought up. Krishna only has to remove that fear from me and he has to give it to me. That is true. But when will Krishna give it to me? When will he give? If you want it,
When I show my seriousness.
and showing your seriousness means when you actually perform the sadhana that he is telling you to do, coming through disciplic succession. When you do sadhana properly, Ananya Bhakti, you enter into Ananya Bhakti and you do sadhana, when he is pleased by your sadhana, by his sweet will, he will actually reveal himself to you, and then higher and higher stages. That is why up to Anartha Nivritti, it is our endeavor. Our endeavor in what way? To do sadhana, to do bhajan, right? Endeavoring. Sadhana bhakti means just endeavor. It doesn't mean taste. It doesn't mean taste. It means faith that this is what I have to do. And you endeavor and you endeavor. This is sadhana. But sadhana, not that I do for 2 hours and then the rest of the time I'm free. No. At every moment you're endeavoring. This is sadhana. When you do like this, when the Lord is pleased with you, right? Anartha nivrittis are finished. After that, it's just coming to you. Then the progress is happening not by your endeavor, it's happening by the mercy coming down. Even now, it's mercy, certainly, removing of the obstacles. The spiritual master removes the obstacles, but your endeavor is also required, very much required. It's like that pastime of Yashoda Mai, right? 2 fingers too short. Krishna, she's trying to tie Krishna, Damodar Leela. What are those 2 fingers? First finger is my hard work has to be there. But simply by my hard work, like yogis, it's not like by my hard work I'm going to get perfection. I'll become free from fear. I will get love of Godhead by my hard work. No, it's not just that. Your hard work is just to show Krishna that you really want it. It's to show him that this is your aspiration. So you show him by your hard work. But really it comes to you when he reveals himself by his mercy. Just like Yashodamai tried hard work. She was sweating, all her flowers were falling off from her hair. From morning until evening, she just kept trying to tie that knot. How hard she worked. And seeing his mother's hard work and endeavor and determination to tie him, then Krishna allowed himself to be tied. That's when she was able to tie him. She was not able to tie him by her hard work, but it is because of her hard work, Krishna's heart melted. So Krishna's heart will melt when we endeavor to do bhakti. We have to endeavor. This is what I want to do. In spite of all odds, you will be endeavoring. I was just hearing from my daughter today. She was reading this book about His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Um, so there it is said that when he got this stroke in 2008, when he got the stroke, he was unconscious. He was unconscious. And it was a very bad stroke. I mean, there were no chances of anyone, it was at the root of his brain. Yeah, the most important part of the brain, right? There were no chances of anyone. There's no history of anyone who survived getting such a stroke. And he was completely unconscious. But his fingers were, like he was chanting actually with his thumb. So they put a clicker in his hand. And he actually started clicking. He was unconscious. But his hands were clicking the clicker and he was chanting even though he was unconscious. This is called, sincerity and I mean, just his whole life, he literally beat, material nature. It's been so many, so many years. All his other god brothers and god sisters who are healthy, they're all leaving their bodies because of old age or some other complications. But in spite of having such a bad stroke, more than a decade has passed and he just keeps pushing it forward. Once, I think I told you, Jananivas Prabhu was giving Bhagavatam class, and just 2-3 days ago, it was announced in the morning that Maharaj's health is very bad, so they had to take him to the hospital. And then I was just looking online, I see his evening classes in Bombay. I mean, even in that situation, whatever he has, he keeps helping others take to Krishna consciousness. So this is endeavor. I'm saying endeavor, right? Whatever is left in me, just keep pushing forward the Lord's mission. Whatever is there. So when somebody works so hard, you can imagine how pleased Krishna must be, right? So if we want, yes, it will be revealed and we'll overcome fear and we will get love of Godhead, not by our endeavor, and certainly we don't have it. This is a very good realization to know that, yes, I don't have it yet. Let's face it, right? Let's face the reality instead of living in some illusion, thinking that, oh, I'm a pure devotee already because I chant 16 rounds and I got initiated, so I'm going back to Godhead in this lifetime. Let's be realistic, right? So let us realistic in what sense? Let me do my part. That's all I'm saying. Let us do our part. What is our part? It's not sufficient that if I chant 16 rounds for 2 hours and rest of the time I do everything else. Even if you're doing other things, the mind should always be running towards Krishna. But that's more difficult. The mind's going towards Krishna comes in at an advanced stage when the heart is purified. Therefore, we should try to engage our senses, not just those 2 hours when we are chanting, but try to increase it in whatever way. Turn on the lecture, turn on bhajan, or and hear, or chant, uh, or do some deity worship. So try to fill your day and night with Krishna consciousness, and not just 1 day or 2 days or 1 week, but every day, because we want to show Krishna that I'm working hard. I want to become a pure devotee. Why? Because it's pleasing to you, Krishna. Therefore, I want to be a pure devotee. So whenever I say that, we are not pure devotees or you're not pure devotee, don't take it as a, like, don't think that the idea is to disappoint you or to disappoint ourselves, or the expectation is not that now immediately you should become a pure devotee. No, it's not like switch on and off. So now we are in off and now immediately we push it on and now next moment we become pure devotees. No, it's not going to happen like that. And as I already explained, becoming pure devotees, that has to come from Krishna, from the higher authorities. But let us not leave any stones unturned from our side. We should not spare any, uh, endeavors which can be done from our side. Whatever means we have, whatever resources we have, let us try, let us push ourselves. That is what it means when Srila Prabhupada says, give this one life to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said in a very simple way, you chant 16 rounds. But if you see how he engaged his devotees, did he leave them even for, any time in between to simply gossip and chit chat and do anything? No, he kept them engaged all the time. When they would visit Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada said, because here, what preaching they will do? Now there are so many guests coming. Back then it was just devotees here. Which guests were coming? So who do they preach to here? So Prabhupada sent them on Harinam every day. Go, do parikrama. Don't just sit idle. So he made sure that they were engaged constantly in some devotional service. So regardless of whether we are living in temple or we are living outside, if we are devotees, which we are, right? We are all aspiring to be devotees. So then our endeavor should also be in that way. How to, at every moment, how to serve Krishna. That was the point. Okay. So yeah, if you are feeling, I also feel the same way, that, I still have fear of this world, I have fear of death and all that, then that immediately tells me, oh, I'm not a pure devotee, right? So then I'll practice my whatever I'm doing, chanting. Let me do it more sincerely. Let me pray to Krishna in a helpless way, right? Please give me, pray to the acharyas, our Guru Parampara, like that, knowing that we don't have pure devotional service yet. And by that we can attract their mercy, and we can move forward like that. So one thing is where I am at the present, and the other thing is where I am supposed to go. Not that if I'm here, this is my ultimate destination. No. This is my consciousness right now, but my desirable consciousness is there. And how can I get there? By the mercy of Krishna. But let me do meanwhile whatever I am supposed to do. Let me show him through my hard work. Let me get his attention. Right? Work in such a way that Krishna wants to see you. Right? So then by that, when Krishna notices, then our life will be perfected. So just let me finish this purport. Again, we are just covering yesterday's shloka and it's over time already. We didn't even read one verse. One who is fully aware of this truth is self. Yeah, we finished the whole purport already. Okay. But these are all important concepts which have to be cleared. So even if we spend more time discussing this, it's not a loss. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama. So that kama word we were discussing. Nishkama. He doesn't have any desire. Anyabhilashita shunyam or Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataeva Shanta. Because he doesn't have any hankering for any desire, not even moksha kama or any other material kama. Because he doesn't have any desire, therefore he's shanta, he's peaceful. Only a Krishna conscious person who knows the aim and object of life is peaceful. All others, whether karmis, jnanis or yogis, are restless and cannot enjoy real peace. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. Okay, good. Let me read one verse because then this has only translation, so we would have covered one verse today. इत्युक्त्वा नाहुशोजायां तदीयं पूरवे वयः दत्त्वा स्वजरसं तस्मात् आददे विगतस्पृहः. Okay, so Rasapriya read yesterday. No, you didn't read. So read translation.
Sukadeva Goswami said, after speaking in this way to his wife Devyani, King Yayati, who was now free from all material desires, called his youngest son Puru, and returned Puru's youth in exchange for his knowledge.
Yes, wonderful, huh? So he took the youth. So you remember what happened, right? King Yayati was cursed by Shukracharya to become old, and then once again understanding that it is his own daughter who will suffer, he gave him the option that you can exchange it with one of your sons, your old age with one of your sons' youth. King Yayati asked Yadu and the other sons, and everyone refused except for the youngest one, Puru, who accepted his father's old age. That means he became very old. And the father got the youth of Puru and he enjoyed for 1000 years. And now he got this realization that this lusty desires, there's no use. And then he decided to leave home and meditate on the Supreme Lord. But even after that, he felt, I must also enlighten my wife before I leave. Therefore, this conversation between Yayati and Devyani, and she also understood, she got the message. And finally, he told her, I am leaving now. Then he called his youngest son Puru and he said, here, you take back your youth and give me my old age. Was Puru still alive? Because this is a previous yuga. It's not Kali Yuga where there is only, life is only 100 years long. Dwapar Yuga, they lived for 1000. Before that, Treta Yuga, they lived for 10,000 years. Satya Yuga, they lived for 100,000 years. So it was a previous yuga. So then, yeah, it looks like this chapter is coming to an end. I'll just read. Dishi dakshina purvasyam druhyum dakshinato yadum praticyam turvasum chakra udichyam Anum Ishwaram. So I think Nilambari Radha Mataji. Can you read?
It's my turn, Mataji. Mataji read the purport, right?
No, Madhava read, na?
Mataji read the next purport. Next verse purport.
No, the big purport was read by Madhava. Oh, today? She read today?
No,
Yeah,
no, Mataji, I read the big purport.
Oh, you read today. I'm sorry. So yeah,
Ah.
Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. So then why did Rasapriya read then? Anyway, sorry.
I wanted to say at that time, but then I thought it's okay. King
Go ahead,
Yayati gave the southeast to his son Dhruvu, the south to his son Yadu, the west to his son Turvasu, and the north to his son Anu. In this way, he divided the kingdom.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So you remember, yeah, King Yayati had two wives. From Devyani, he had Yadu, two sons, Yadu and Dhruvu from Devyani. And then from Sharmishta, he had three sons. He had Turvasu, Anu, and Puru. Okay. So before leaving home, he's dividing. So he was ruling, King Yayati was ruling the entire earth with its 7 islands, the whole Bhumandala. So King Yayati gave the southeast to his son Dhruvyu, south to his son Yadu, west to Turvasu, north to Anu. In this way, he divided the kingdom. Then next is Saujanya Mataji. भूमण्डलस्य सर्वस्य पूर्वम् अर्हत्तमं विशाम् अभिश्च्याग्रजांस्तस्य वशे स्थाप्य वनं ययौ.
Yayati enthroned his youngest son Puru as the emperor of the entire world and the proprietor of all its riches, and he placed all the other sons who were older than Puru under Puru's control. Hare Krishna.
Yes, yeah. It's like Yudhishthir Maharaj became the emperor, but he appointed his younger brothers, as to rule different departments, and he gave them, but he was the head. Only in this case, the youngest son Puru was made the emperor, and the older brothers who were given each region, they all were to work under their youngest brother. Why? Because he was so obedient and faithful to his father, right? He even sacrificed his youth for 1000 years. So the father was so pleased. So he made him the emperor of the entire world and the proprietor of all its riches, and made his older brothers, Puru's older brothers, to obey him like that. Then next is Arunita Aditilata Mataji. Am I missing anyone? Hope not. Okay. Arunita and Aditilata Mataji next.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. आसेवितं वर्षपूगान् षड्वर्गं विषयेषु सः क्षणेन मुमुचे नीडं जातपक्ष इव द्विजः.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Having enjoyed sense gratification for many, many years, O King Parikshit, Yayati was accustomed to it, but he gave it up entirely in just a moment, just as a bird flies away from the nest as soon as its wings have grown.
Yes, very, very interesting. Huh? Like he was used to it. For 1000 years, he was enjoying. We know in this world, if somebody is addicted to smoking, how hard is it to give up, right? So he was used to this. He was the emperor and he was used to all the opulences and enjoyment. But as soon as he got that realization, he just left it as if he was never attached to it. And the best example is the eggs laid by birds, right? Little baby, and the eggs hatch, and then the little baby birds are there. They're completely dependent on the mother bird who comes, brings food, and puts in the mouth of the little birds, right? And then gradually the bird is growing, but it's only in the nest all the time. It's not like it's going somewhere and coming back. It's just in the nest. But as soon as it gets wings, gone for good. It's no more like, oh, my mother, my home, no, ho gaya, independent, gone away as if it never belonged here. Like that, King Yayati, although he was so accustomed to a life of opulence and, sense gratification, he just left everything and never looked back. Purport, Aditi Lata Mataji. We may not discuss it today, just read it, let's see.
My mom can't read right now.
She can't read. So everyone else got a turn. Well, you read yesterday, all of you. So let's stop here. Mataji will read the purport tomorrow and we will continue. Do you want me to read Bhagavad Gita or do you want me to stop here? It's already 6:54. I mean, it's morning for you. You may have other things to do.
You can read Mataji if you have time.
Yeah, I can read just so that we can. But if anyone has any, if you don't want me to read, just raise your hand and I can stop, no problem. Just I'll read Bhagavad Gita Shloka. I may not explain, but we'll read. And then a little bit of Leela Amrita and we'll end. Okay, bookmarked. Yesterday was also Lochan Das Thakur's disappearance day. So I couldn't find time to read, but maybe today or tomorrow. And one more thing is, now Gaur Purnima season is starting. So first we have Advaita Acharya's appearance day, then Nityananda Trayodasi is coming. I was thinking, so it won't be possible within our class hours. These classes will go on as usual. But during the day, I can just start. We can read Nityananda Charitamrita, one chapter a day. I'll just read it and I'll just record it. And, if you have time, you can hear later on because the timings don't match with you. Those who are in India can hear. But it'll be a nice preparation, right? We are already reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. So we are reading, of course, when we read Chaitanya Leela, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's interactions with all his devotees. But this will be Nityananda Charitamrita, specifically, Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes. There's 13 chapters. This is the book you must have seen. This is the Nityananda Charitamrita. I think you're only seeing Nityananda Prabhu. You're not seeing the
Nityananda Prabhu's face is like a girl,
yeah.
lady.
Yeah, take out the. Just do it now. So this one. So it has 13 chapters. So if I read one chapter a day, 22nd is Nityananda Trayodasi. So we'll be good. We'll be reading, Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes. And then we are already reading Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Maybe we'll just read Mahaprabhu's appearance day pastime on that day, on Gaur Purnima day. And for Advaita Acharya, we can just select pastimes. Advaita Acharya Amrit, like put them together and we can read on Advaita Acharya's appearance day. That's what I'm thinking now. But Nityananda Charitamrita, we won't be able to fit into what we are already doing now. So this is going to be extra, but you can hear it in your free time. We'll just like it won't. I don't think it'll be even half an hour a day because one chapter, like 2 pages or 3 pages, small book. So that's what I'm thinking. Okay. And then whatever Acharya's appearance and disappearance days, that also separately I'll be reading because then it takes up, we don't get time for Bhagavatam. You see already only Bhagavatam only we are taking so long. For one verse we cover and it takes a while. Then we add so many other things, then Bhagavatam won't move forward. So that will be done separately. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, text 27. Please repeat. तान् समीक्ष्य स कौन्तेयः सर्वान् बन्धून् अवस्थितान् कृपया परयाविष्टो विषीदन्निदमब्रवीत्. When the son of Kunti, Arjun, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. Yes. So what did Arjun say? That we will see tomorrow. But the chariot was brought between both the armies, and Arjun wanted to see who are the people who came to fight with me, who came to support Duryodhan, wicked Duryodhan. So these people also must be wicked because they are supporting him. Let me see them. And when he went, he saw, oh, they're all my family members, my uncles, my sons, my grandfathers, my fathers. And then he felt compassion. Then he begins to speak to Krishna. We'll see that in the next verses tomorrow. And also let's read a little bit of Leelamrita. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. So Srila Prabhupada is now in the Bowery, right? So, and the room was really small. So that's what we read in the last class, the description of Srila Prabhupada's room on 92 Bowery, right? 6 feet. The entrance was no more than 6 feet from the entrance to 94. 94 Bowery was a narrow 4-story building. It had long ago been painted grey and bore the usual facing of a massive black fire escape, like a chimney, right? Fire escape. A well-worn black double door, its glass panels reinforced with chicken wire, opened onto the street. The sign above the door read AIR 3rd and 4th, indicating that artists in residence occupied those floors. The first floor of the next building north, 96 Bowery, was used for storage, and its front entrance was covered with a rusty iron gate. At 98 Bowery was another tavern, like a liquor shop, Harold's, smaller and dingier than the Half Moon. Thus, the block consisted of 2 saloons, a flop house, and 2 buildings with lofts. So that was all that was there on that street. Okay, so then we'll read further tomorrow. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Hare Krishna. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.